Hey, welcome back to the Orange Reel YouTube channel. If this is your first time, thank you for clicking on the video. I appreciate you giving me a shot, and I hope you enjoyed it. But let's talk about Godzilla vs. Kong. Like many movies that are to come out later this year, this thing has been delayed for a long while. Hell, I think, if I remember correctly, it was already delayed due to reshoots they wanted to do. So yeah, if you're a kaiju fan, you've been waiting for this one for a long time. Because, well, frankly, we haven't seen Godzilla and Kong fight each other since the 60s, and now with modern technology, we can have them fight in ways they never did before. But before we go on, I just want to say, I've been a Godzilla fan since I was a kid. The first Godzilla movie I ever saw was Terror of Mechagodzilla, which if you're a Godzilla fan, you know it's probably not the best one to start in on, but it was fun and goofy, and there was giant monsters and giant robot monsters, so I was hooked, and I've been watching them ever since. From the good to the bad, to the serious, to the more silly, I am a Godzilla fan. And before I get into the review proper, I want to go over how I feel about the movies leading up to this one. First, we have 2014's Godzilla, directed by Gareth Edwards. Some of the Star Wars fans know Gareth Edwards as the director of Rogue One, and just like in this film, Gareth Edwards gives some very good visuals with the monsters, and that's greatly appreciated. A little feast for the eyes here, beyond the fact that, they're giant monsters. You really know how to film them in a way to show the scale of these creatures, their weight, have some cool moments. I really enjoyed that stuff. The Mutos, not my favorite antagonist monsters. They are a nice little addition and help set up this new monster world that they're doing. And as for Godzilla himself, once again, not my favorite Godzilla design, but I still like it. I think it's a cool new modern take on the design. Definitely better than the 1998 one, which was just like a mutated T-Rex almost. And before anyone says anything, I know it was a mutated iguana. I'm saying design-wise, it looked like a mutated T-Rex. But yeah, so the one problem that people brought up a lot with that film, and one I tend to agree with, is that there was a lack of Godzilla. Not that I wanted to see him on screen for the full 2 hours, but it's just like they tried to do this build-up thing, and even though the way Godzilla finished off the last Muto was pretty cool, I still wanted to see more of him. And if they just showed him fighting the Muto during that scene in, I believe it was Hawaii at the airport, I think I would have less issues with it. But unfortunately, the big problem with the film are the characters. Aaron Taylor Johnson and Bryan Cranston's characters are father and son, and they have an estranged relationship. And during the first act, we get to see their dynamic, them coming to more of an understanding with each other, but at the same time arguing at first. It was nice. But then they kill off Bryan Cranston at the end of the first act, and after that, Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, yeah, he's pretty boring, because what was interesting about him was his dynamic with his father. Without that dynamic, I just really didn't care about him. So overall, I did enjoy the film, but not a whole lot. I would say it's okay. I was willing to give it another shot because I saw that there was actual effort and talent put into it. And I was excited for what was coming next. Though what was coming next wasn't another Godzilla movie. Kong Skull Island. Now, this one, unlike Godzilla, has plenty of Kong in it. And I've got to say, I enjoyed the monster fights in this movie much more than the Godzilla ones. The Godzilla ones weren't bad, but because in that movie they kept cutting away from the fights to over-focus on the humans, it just made the fights incomplete, and the timing was off. But with these Kong fights, they're a lot of fun. Unfortunately, once again, we have character issues in this, and I gotta say, I don't know why these movies can't give me decent characters. I'm not expecting The Godfather or Schindler's List here, but I just want some nice characters. The 2 main characters are played by Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson, and both of them are just cookie-cutter archetypal characters with no real depths or layers to them. Thankfully, in this film, we have a great supporting cast. Samuel L. Jackson plays the antagonist of the film, even though his character is nothing fantastic either, because it's Sam Jackson. His charisma and energy elevate the character to a higher level than what it really is. And then you have John C. Reilly's character, who's just supposed to be this crazy guy that lives on Skull Island, and you think, oh, he's just going to be the comic relief character. But honestly, the character has more heart and depth than any other character in the film, and I kind of view him more as the true main character than the 2 main characters they give us. So yeah, thanks to great action and a great supporting cast with good characters, Kong Skull Island, I actually enjoyed it more than the Godzilla movie, even though there was still some more, I would say, finer technical points that the Godzilla movie had. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. This movie, of course, takes the title from the original movie, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. It has Godzilla fighting his probably most iconic foe, King Ghidorah, the 3-headed golden dragon monster. And honestly, I really hated this film. I'm sorry. Like, it doesn't make the same mistake as the previous Godzilla film because we have plenty of Godzilla in it. He's all throughout this film and plenty of action. The action's nice. But honestly, and once again, I'm not expecting like high level Oscar worthy stuff here. The characters are beyond boring. They're all just plain cookie cutter. I've seen these characters a billion times. The story was boring, a little confusing at times. They're trying to expand the mythos by talking about these other monsters and a ancient civilization that knew about the monsters. But beyond the monster fights, this movie is boring. And I know it's just a giant monster movie, but the monsters aren't fighting constantly. Of course, they shouldn't be fighting constantly. It'd just be a dumb movie if it's just 2 hours of constant monster fighting. You just get bored because it's just like, okay, yeah, he's fighting him again. He's slashing at him again. We need a decent story. Not a great story, but a decent story and decent characters to carry us between these fights. And this movie did not have that at all. Oh God, it just got so boring at times. I was happy when the movie was over. I genuinely was. All right, now finally to talk about Godzilla versus Kong. Wow, the fights were great in this film. Like seriously, like the fights between Godzilla and Kong, top notch monster slam, bam, thank you, ma'am. I really enjoyed it. It's the best fight since Kong Skull Island. So I don't know if it's just that the people behind these films have more fun with Kong and are able to create better fights. Not that the Godzilla fights were bad, but maybe they were just good. Lots of energy. You saw Kong use his agility and his intelligence. Godzilla using his power and his atomic breath, and using his dominant force in a good way. Yeah, the fights. Have no complaints about the fights. Really, all of them were great. It was really cool to see these two icons just go at it again after so many decades. It was a ton of fun. Unfortunately, once again, I don't care about any of the characters in this film. Like, I honestly do not remember any of the names, except for maybe Millie Bobby Brown's character. I think her name was Emma. Emma? Was it Emma? I don't know. And she's one of the few returning characters from the previous film. So, yeah, I just like they have this plot about, Kong, he's on Skull Island, and they need him to find this underground, world inside Earth and to further expand on the mythology of these monsters, which I'm really getting confused now as to the mythology of these monsters. It's just because, like, they acted like no one knew about the inner world. Okay, I'm going to get the spoilers. So, pulling back, no spoilers. I'm sorry. Pulling back on that one. But anyway, yeah, so it's all just like, I can't tell you, there was like probably a solid 20 minutes in this film where I was like, what's this? What's that? Hold on. Wait, you guys didn't mention it. What is this? How does this work? Who built this? What is going on? What? This movie, I'm telling you, everybody, it's been a while since I've seen a film that so earnestly begged me not to think about what was going on. It's begging you not to think about what's going on. Because if you even take 1 second to think about it, even for a giant monster movie like this, which I've seen a ton in my lifetime, nothing makes sense. Like, this movie feels like it'd be, even if it was home in the 60s or 70s when, you expected everything to be super schlocky and campy, which I'm not against schlock and camp. It can be done well. As we all know, Sam Raimi Spider-Man films were super campy, but he made them work. You can make camp work in a major feature film. It doesn't have to be an insult. But yeah, I'm just so confused. Thankfully, despite the fact that the story is confusing and the characters are once again completely unmemorable, like I don't know any of their names, I don't care if I see them again, the movie maintains an energy. I can never say that I was bored. I may not care for the characters, the story, but I can never say I was bored when they say, like, oh, this movie's a roller coaster ride. This movie kind of lives up to that phrase, that term, because the energy was always up. I never felt really the energy drop. Everything was going good. I think that has a lot to do with the pacing of the film. It doesn't really waste your time, which is good considering this movie's 2 hours long. So you would think that there might have been a few pacing issues, but no, it keeps that energy up. So yeah, unlike the previous film, Godzilla King of the Monsters, I wasn't bored at any time. So yeah, I'll say this much: I enjoyed it better than the last film. All right, so my final thoughts on this film. I've been giving little ratings in my previous reviews, but for this movie, I don't feel like a rating is appropriate. So I'll put it this way. If you just want to turn your brain off movie where you see giant monsters fight, check this film out. I think you'll really enjoy it. However, if you're somebody who still needs to like the characters, even just at the basic level, and have a coherent story, basic, like nothing fantastic, because you need these bare minimums, I wouldn't go check this movie out unless you already have HBO Max. It's on HBO Max for free. If you don't have HBO Max, go find your friend who does and ask them if, hey, can I log into your HBO Max and watch this? Because honestly, except for maybe matinee pricing, I don't think I'd go to the theater to see it. If I hadn't gone to see it for free on HBO Max, I think I'd be upset I'd pay a ticket for it. Because it's like, and here's the thing, I'm not saying the movie pretends like it's something it's not. It's never pretending to be anything more than it is. But for what it is, it kind of skips out on some basics. And I'm just like, all I want is decent characters. That's all I want. I just want one character that's like I find particularly memorable. That's it. I'm not asking for the next, Atticus Finch. And that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I think no matter what kind of movie it is, whether it's a serious movie, silly movie, a movie with giant monsters fighting each other, I need decent characters. Because even a movie like Pacific Rim had memorable characters. And that's all I want. Alright everybody, that is my review of Godzilla vs. Kong. If you have an opinion about this film yourself, let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, click the like button, it helps out a ton. And if you want to see my videos pop up in your feed, click the subscribe button. But until next time everybody, take it easy out there.